Does the VTuber community have a problem with toxic positivity? No, I think so. Hear me out. I can hear you rolling your eyes through the screen, either because, well, obviously it does, or, well, duh, it doesn't. It's a complicated question because first we have to establish what the VTuber community in question exactly means, and we need to define what toxic positivity is. Now, you might be thinking, Vic, that's absurd. That's like saying,
If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe.
maybe. Maybe. I'm new to the VTuber community. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Vic. Hope your day is going alright. I'm feeling a little down myself. So, it's kind of hard to describe what the VTuber community is, given fact I am in fact a newcomer to it. But I've seen more than a couple of social media posts in my short tenure here saying that the VTuber community has a problem with toxic positivity. But it did get me thinking in a couple of respects. What exactly is the VTuber community? What does that one song by Britney Spears have to do with them? Wait, was that toxic positivity or toxic love? So naturally, my next step was to go and look it up. Toxic Love is a Fern Gully song sung by Tim Curry. Toxic is a pop song sung by Britney Spears, and toxic positivity appears to be the newest phase of internet armchair psychology diagnoses. Now, with that said, Google still hasn't, unfortunately, answered my two most important questions. Which part of the VTuber community are we talking about? Are we talking about the fans, the talents? Are we talking indie, agency, big, small, femboy, cat girls, all of them, none of them? Well, we have to answer as well. What exactly is toxic positivity and what makes these VTubers that? Now, I'm going to pull a little loopity-loop on you here, and we're going to talk about the second question first. Joke's on you, but you didn't see that one coming. Anyways, for the more goldfish brained of us, myself included, we're answering the question, what is toxic positivity? Now, somewhere in my head, when I first dipped my toe in the content creation space, I had conflated toxic positivity with the idea of, passive aggressiveness. Something along the lines of the American Southern phrase, bless your heart. A phrase, if you don't know, potentially toxic, but yet at the same time, potentially positive. Now, that's not really toxic positivity. Toxic positivity as a concept appears to be relatively recent. We can prove this not only by my Twitter feed, but also via science, using Google's Ngram search. The oldest result I could find for toxic positivity was in 2006. It's in a very complicated book about psychoanalyzing Shakespeare. It appears to be roughly the modern usage of the phrase, but also I can't really tell because it feels like I've been dropped into an upper graduate Freudian psychology college course without anyone even having the common decency to tell me I'm in the wrong classroom and that pop psychology 101 is down the hall. Now, I am not reading the entirety of this book and like 3 other books mentioned in this 2-page section alone, just that I can tell you whether the usage of the phrase should constitute the first coining of the term. We're just going to say this is it. It's coined 2006 in relation to childhood trauma or Laertes or the superego or I don't know, something like that. But anyways, the modern pop psychology usage of the word is defined by a random inews.co.uk article, according to Wikipedia, as the pressure to stay upbeat no matter how dire one's circumstances is, and it starts to, finally give us some insight as to what toxic positivity, or as Kieran Sidhu, author of the iNews article words it, positive toxicity is. Now, we'll be using the two phrases interchangeably. They mean the same thing, don't get confused. So that's great and all, but how does that relate to us, the common man, woman, non-binary entity, and VTuber? Now, have you ever seen those hustle culture Instagram, TikTok accounts? You'll know which ones I'm talking about if you're an internet driller like me. The ones that keep telling you to grind and you'll make it. The ones with confusingly worded, oddly specific memes. The ones yelling at you to get your life together that you'll never make it in the real world if you don't get out of the house and meet people and give them ground children. That you need to stop ordering tubs of cheese puffs from Amazon because the basement is overfilling with them and you're gonna die or something if you keep eating them for every meal and we're not gonna make rent this month. Sorry, I don't really know where that came from, but I think you get the point. If not, here's a couple of clips of some Instagram influencers and Facebook memes promoting grind culture.
Because everything they say tries to sound super cool, but then pretty much every post is ruined by grammatical errors and spelling mistakes. Everything is easy if you are crazy. Nothing is easy you are lazy.
One of my favorite ideas that I've ever heard was the thought of doing today what others aren't willing to do, so I can do tomorrow what they can't.
Meet Jose, the man your girlfriend is fucking in her dreams.
I wake up at 4:30 Pacific time every day, including weekends and Sat Sundays. Sat Sundays is a new day I invented so I can work 8 days a week. In preparation of this video for the Relentless series, I also started a hedge fund, created Wall Street Part 2, mimics the crypto market hours, and a bakery that only has one ingredient, blueberries.
Listen, bitch! Before you start messing with me, you should know that I don't play games. I win them.
You might be thinking, Vic, how is trying to work on yourself a bad thing? What makes this positively toxic instead of just overbearingly positive? And that's a rough line to tread, dear potential subscriber. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Eschewing reality, embracing positivity at every waking moment, and ignoring others' troubles is where positivity begins to go bad. I would dare say toxic positivity is in fact an addiction, but also I'm no psychologist, so just keep that in mind. It's a method of coping for many people. I don't begrudge anyone that. If excessive positivity floats your boat, gets you up in the morning, so be it. Good for you. I'm sincerely happy for you. Life kind of sucks and we all deal with that in our own ways. I'm not here to tell you about the cheese puff addiction that may or may not be plaguing me in my own day, getting me through it. And I'm definitely not here to tell you shouldn't be a positive person. I'm here to talk to you about toxic positivity. Now, where is the line between toxic and non-toxic positivity? Toxic positivity is characterized as ignoring negative things in life to focus on the positive ones, as we've established. So how do we differentiate that from acknowledging negative aspects of life and choosing to not focus on them? As with many things in life, I'd argue it depends on the result. Is someone going to be homeless and your response to them is keep grinding, bruh, and you'll get there? Well, that's kind of toxic. Is a stranger worried about live streaming for the first time and your advice is to tell them not to worry about it and that they'll do great? That's kind of toxic. Basically, if somebody's worrying about something and your answer is some variation of "Hey, it'll be great, don't worry," that's toxic, even if you didn't intend it that way. If you know the person and you know the situation and you personally know it's probably going to be all right, that's different. That's not toxic. That's reassuring and but maybe also still kind of ineffective and condescending. I don't know. I'm not here to judge you. Just being honest. At the same time, though, I think you can still be positively toxic towards yourself as well. And that's a little harder to armchair diagnose and outside of the scope of this video. You'll see a therapist or psychologist or something if you're worried you might be positively toxic. But also, if you're worried you've got a case of toxic positivity, it sounds like you may not be positively toxic because you're not blandly ignoring the possibility that you may be positively toxic. It's a catch-22, which is actually one of my favorite books. I would definitely recommend Catch-22. But moving on, I think I've well established what toxic positivity is, but you may still have some lingering questions as to why that's a bad thing. And that's pretty simple, honestly. It's condescending and really not that useful, especially in the content creation space. No one wants to be told their worries are irrelevant. All they need to do is believe hard enough. Like we're in fucking Peter Pan or something. As an example, let's go back to the person wanting to start up streaming. They make a post. I'm new to streaming. I'm worried I'm not going to be entertaining. It gets 10 upvotes, 5 retweets, and a partridge in a pear tree. The first reply says, "Don't worry, you'll do great. Just keep grinding those live streams, keep working on yourself, and you'll reach success." The second reply says, "Well, it's tough, but there are some things you can do. Do some practice streams offline, stream to your friends, record your streams and watch them back later. These are all things you can do to get more confident and get some feedback as to what works and what doesn't." Not everyone is necessarily going to be the perfect entertainer, but you can get better with practice and hard work. Now, as you might imagine, one of these is substantially more useful to the new streamer than the other. Both replies are positive and theoretically encouraging, but the problem is the first reply invalidates the original poster's feelings about inadequacy, while the second reply gives the poster the means to work on it, and acknowledges their feelings. What happens when the poster does their first live stream, and it's inevitably bad because, all of our starting reps are bad and nobody watches it? Well, the first poster was telling them they do great. They're not feeling great, but they grind it out for a year. They keep grinding. They keep getting told if they grind, they'll gain success. They keep streaming. Maybe they get a couple of regular chatters, some regular subscribers, but they're not really growing. not as a streamer, not as a channel, and definitely not as a creator. If you want to get better at something, you have to accept the negatives and you have to work on them. There's thousands, maybe tens of thousands of other streamers to watch with the exact same setup as the original streamer. If the streamer's still enjoying it after a year, good for them. If it's a way of getting stress out of their day, well, they don't have to change the thing for anybody. But at the same time, nobody's obligated to watch their content. If they want to grow as a content creator and as an entertainer, they need to be able to critically examine themselves and attract viewers. Right, so we've hopefully answered the second question, what is toxic positivity, and the inevitable follow-up question of why is it a bad thing, so let's answer the first question. What is the VTuber community in this context? I would not be surprised if you had not heard of the complaints of toxic positivity in the VTuber community. The complaints aren't everywhere. There's a steady flow of tweets, Discord messages, a couple of Reddit threads about the presence of toxic positivity. And I did a bit of research, did a bit of cataloging of complaints, did a bit of interpretation, and came to the conclusion there's 3 different categories or so that the complaints fall into, distributed at about a 50-25-25 ratio. Aspiring VTubers complaining about toxic positivity in the aspiring VTuber community, VTubers of all kinds complaining about their audience not wanting to be negative, and some members of the VTuber audience complaining about their VTubers not wanting to be negative. So right off, immediately, off of the bat, we can ignore the third group. VTubing is inherently a parasocial relationship. Your VTuber does not owe you anything, even if you donate to them, believe it or not. Not only that, it's about people wanting to watch cute/cool anime figures be entertainers. Some people unwind from life by watching their favorite football team play. Some people unwind from life by reading a good book. Again, I would recommend Catch 22. And some people unwind from life by watching cat femboy VTubers and ear-licking ASMR streams. There's niches in entertainment for everyone. If a talent is overly positive for you, just go find another one. I'm not generally a fan of don't like this piece of media, go watch another one. But if you're not a fan of an entertainer, why would you keep trying to watch them? If a friend of mine hated horror fundamentally as a genre, but kept watching horror, I'd call them dumb. Similarly, I'm going to call you dumb if you say a VTuber is positively toxic for not simply wanting to be negative. As to the flip side of the coin, the story of the creator wanting to change what they create and, well, people not just caring, is a tale as old as time. It's unfortunate, but again, nobody's obligated to watch your content. If you change your content, well, there's a good chance you'll lose a large portion of your audience. The cute anime, girl, boy, non-binary person ordeal mentioned in the last point cuts both ways. A significant portion of the VTuber audience just wants to see cute anime people do the same song and dance for their entertainment. A lot of them don't want to hear about the shitty day you've had. They don't want to hear about the barista fucked up your coffee. There's an audience for the whole Manhattan thing, which I'm not super well versed in. I don't know too much about it, but even to my limited knowledge, the whole Manhattan thing still requires cute anime people doing cute anime things. It's just that they occasionally break down in members only streams or make rambling Twitter rants about how pick or about a monkey or whatever. Now, it may be toxic to expect a talent to never be negative, but it's also not really the type of toxicity we're going to talk about today. It's not relevant to us. So now that we've finally narrowed down the question that is relevant to us so that we're all on the same page, is the aspiring VTuber community filled with toxic positivity? My answer is yes. Now hear me out, hear me out. I'm not saying every aspiring VTuber is toxic or even that a majority of aspiring VTubers are toxic, or even that the people perpetuating this toxicity are doing it intentionally. I think this is a trait intrinsic to the community of the aspiring entertainer. It's a problem every medium has. Go and look at r/Twitch. There's a massive problem with this over there. Go back 20 years, ask the dude on the sidewalk trying to flip some CDs how he thinks he's going to get success. Go back 80 years, ask people in Hollywood how they plan to become a famous actor or actress. You're going to get the same answer. Work hard, ignore your problems, keep grinding. I breezed over this idea briefly in my Ray debut non-live stream. Please don't watch it. It's not good, great content. This isn't like bait for you to watch it. It's just actually not very good. But the idea is simple. You hear your idols say this often, and people who reach a modicum of success say it even more. Work hard, you'll get somewhere. Now, you'll hear smarter ones preface that advice. Work hard. If you get lucky at the right time and the right place, well, you'll get the chance to show what you're made of, and you might get somewhere. Here's the thing though, you're working with an incomplete set of advice. Consider for half of a second the amount of people who have failed to reach any kind of success. The painters who works line garage sales, the musicians who hundreds of CDs are in landfills, the streamers who have been streaming since Twitch TV was Justin TV and still haven't even hit 100 followers. Now there are so many more of these individuals who end up abandoning their dreams. Hell, a lot of them are probably even more talented than people who do actually become famous. So yes, I think aspiring VTubers have a problem with toxic positivity, but I think that's normal. Here's the thing. To become famous, to get some level of popularity, that requires commitment. That does require grinding. That does require working hard at it. What starts off as a pretty reasonable idea, the idea that you need to work hard and, maybe you'll reach success, that becomes an echo chamber. Work harder, you'll probably reach success. Work even harder, you'll reach success. Work as hard as you possibly can. Grind even harder and you will reach success. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds almost comforting to me. Like I need to work hard. I just need to work hard. I need to grind. I can become famous. I can be like my idols. I can be like, I can be like famous people. I can be famous. I can do that. I mean, I'm just not putting in enough effort right now. I just need to work harder. And, some people grab onto that like it's a safety blanket. And when Lady Luck, if Lady Luck leans their way, their hard work turns into results and they get everything they've ever wanted. That one person who succeeded out of thousands, maybe tens of thousands, who grinded, repeats the advice that they got. Just grind, grind, you'll get there, my young aspiring entertainer. And so the cycle begins anew on the backs of the thousands, tens of thousands. If you look at the history of time, hundreds of thousands who didn't make it there. So I ask again, is the VTuber community positively toxic? In some ways, yes. In a lot of ways, even yes. But the next time you see somebody in that mindset, understand it's a coping mechanism. Try to understand where they're coming from. It'll make you a better person, even if you don't excuse them. But that will, however, excuse me for the time being. I've been Vic, your friendly local robo nerd. If you've liked this, please like, comment, and subscribe. I plan on making more content like this and gaming content and stuff. I stream on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays for about an hour or two at 10 p.m. Central on YouTube at this channel. So make sure to tune in next time. Thank you very much. See ya.